Okay, welcome to a healthy hips and back flow style class. We'll be moving maybe a little bit more than we're used to in the class. As always, if the static postures work better for your body, just leave the movement aside and stay in stillness until we move to the next pose. Okay, so stand at the top of your mat, lift and spread your toes. And then lower your toes. When your big toe comes back down, shift your weight forward into your toe mounds and toes, lift your heels. Hug your inner ankles towards each other, and then lower your heels. If you notice you're rolling towards the pinky side of your foot, just a little more emphasis when you lift your heels to hug your ankles towards each other. And lower your heels. And once again. And lower your heels. Next time you breathe in, do the same thing. Lift your heels, but sweep your arms up. And exhale, lower your arms past your hips without leaning forward. Breathe in. Heels on your exhalation, lower your heels and lift and spread your toes. And last time to move our arms in this way, lift your heels and then lower. Lift your toes. Inhale to lift your arms. This time turn your palms towards the side walls. Exhale, lower your hands down as you do your heels. When your palms touch, inhale to lift your arms up, lift your heels, and your palms to the sides. And exhale, heels down, bring your arms down. And inhale, lift your heels, lift your arms, bring your palms outwards, lower your heels. Good, last time. And exhale. Mountain pose. And then just some gentle movement here. You can start just moving your arms. Allow your heels to lift here to just deepen the twist and the swing of your arms. If you are practicing right next to someone, make sure you have the space or the coordination not to smash into each other. See, we don't have that coordination, so that's why Karen just took a step back on her mat. And make sure your head is turning as well. And depending on how you feel, just move a little faster if you'd like. And then slowly wind down the movement until your arms slowly come back down towards your sides. And then step your feet closer together. Place your hands on your knees and start to just move your knees in one direction. Doesn't matter which one you go first, we'll go in both ways. And now do go that second way, the other way. And then come back to mountain pose. Now step your right foot back. Step your right foot back maybe halfway down your mat. It's a shorter stride. And then bend both knees till your right knee is almost, near the ground and you feel some tension in the front of your thighs. And I don't know how near you have to get before you feel that tension, so again, up to you. Bring your palms down by your sides. Now when you breathe in, sweep your arms up, straighten out both legs. And when you breathe out, sweep your arms back, bend both knees. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe. And last time, breathe in, lift your arms. When you breathe out, bring your arms back, interlace your fingers, just hold here for about 3 breaths. Push back through your knuckles, lift up through your chest, and draw in through your low ribs. Just bring a little more tension to the front of your thigh on the right side. Take your hands apart, place them on your hips, straighten out both legs. You may need to take a slightly shorter step so you can push down through your right heel and angle your right toes as they need to be angled to protect your back knee. But push down through the outer edge of your right foot, draw back through your left hip. Your hands to your heart. And when you breathe out, move your chest forward. Don't worry, down's gonna happen. Breathe in, come back up. And breathe out. And in to lift back up. Now lowering your shoulders no lower than your hips here. Breathe in to come up. And breathe out. Just make sure you stay toned through your low belly. Shoulder blades connected in your upper middle back. So if your arms have dropped down by in front of your torso, just pull your upper arms a little closer towards your side ribs. And we'll do one more full one where you go down and then come back up. And place your hands on your thigh. As you draw your left hip back, move your chest forward and walk your hands, could be just above your knee. If you'd like, you can bring your hands below your knee on your shin, on the ground, or certainly if you have blocks, take your hands onto blocks. This allows you to keep your wrists a little further away from one another, and as such, your chest open and your upper middle back a little bit more connected. So again, inner shoulder blades draw towards each other. And as you breathe in, extend forward through the top of your head. As you breathe out, your breath is encouraging you to go deeper into the sensation. Move your torso closer to your left thigh. Place your hands back on your shin. Just help yourself back up. Keep your legs as they are. And bring your palms out in front of you. Stay rooted through your right foot. And on your exhalation, bend into your left knee, push forward. Flex the muscles of your arms. Inhale, turn your palms back in, straighten out your left leg. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe. Really important that you're flexing your muscles. So triceps when you push forward, biceps when you come back. Generate a little heat by using your muscles, your muscular energy here. A couple more times. Now this last time, I'd like you to keep the bend in your left knee and keep pushing forward. Root or push down through your outer right heel. Stretch down your outer right shin and into your Achilles here. Straighten out your left leg, bring your hands in. Now lift your back heel, move your weight forward into your left leg so you can lift your right knee up. Then take your right knee a little wider. You can place your foot onto a block, onto the ground, to your inner shin, or you can place it to your upper inner left thigh like Karen's doing. Then push your standing leg. If you have your foot into your lifted or into your standing leg, push your lifted foot into your standing leg. Standing leg gives that pressure back. Lift up through the center of your chest. And make this quite an active pose. So keep your left hip drawing back, but try to draw your right knee wider, the strength of your outer right hip. Now your hands can stay at heart center on your hips, or extend your arms up towards the ceiling. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. No problem. Last breath here. Then lower your hands to your hips. Bring your right foot down by your left. Big mountain pose. Just catch your breath if you find it's accelerated a little bit. Now step back with your right foot, or left foot, excuse me. Keep your left heel lifted so your toes point forward. Bring your arms down by your side. Now bend both knees so you feel some tension in your left thigh. Breathe in, sweep your arms up, straighten out both legs. As you breathe out, sweep your arms back, bend both knees. Breathe in. And out. And just keep moving with your breath. Now when you sweep your arms back, just ensure your chest isn't moving forward. You'll take much of the tension out of your left leg here. So try to keep your shoulders right over top of your hips throughout the whole movement. Last time to lift your arms and straighten your legs. This time when your knees are bent, take your hands behind you, clasp your fingers so there's a different pinky finger on top, and then push your knuckles towards your left heel, lift up through your chest, but draw in through your low ribs. Or you might be able to feel it a different way, is drawing back through the upper rim of your pelvis. Try to keep the tension in your thigh and out of your face. Straighten out both legs, take your hands to your hips. Again, a short stride forward or short movement forward of your left foot so you can push the whole thing to the ground. Angled now about 30 degrees-ish, a little more, a little less. Pull your outer right hip back. Just keep your right big toe mountain pushing into the ground. Bring your hands to your heart. Exhale, move your chest forward and down. Inhale to come up. Stay toned through your low belly to support your lower back through the movement. And stay toned through your upper middle back so your chest stays open throughout the movement. A few more times. And if anybody's really diligently counting the number of times I do from side to side, I apologize if they're a little bit different from side to side. Shouldn't be that much different, but perhaps a little. Now place your hands on your thigh, or to walk your hands down your right thigh. Again, stay energetic, reaching forward through the top of your head. And if you'd like to walk your hands past, again, take them to your shin. Your blocks are nearby, perhaps, or your hands to the ground. Now find length again in your spine on this next breath in. Push down through your right toe mountain, draw back through your outer right hip, and while your right hip is going back, extend forward through the top of your head. And your exhalations may draw you a little closer to your right thigh. Now the goal of the pose is not to get to your right thigh, it's to get into the appropriate sensation that you, your body, and your breath both support here. So whatever distance you have or closeness, proximity you have to your thigh, it's really not, not the goal. Okay, walk your hands back up your right shin, right thigh. Take your palms in front of you. Breathe in, push forward. And breathe out. Breathe in and out. And remember, flex your arm muscles going both directions. And one more time, push forward, keep your heel grounded. Push, push, push. Keep flexing your arm muscles. And then push into your right foot so you can move yourself back, hands to hips, lift your back heel. Move your weight forward into your right leg, lift your left knee forward and up. Now once again, take your knee a little wider. And as much as you can, mirror the placement of your on the last side, but if it's not safe for you to do so, it's fine for it to be placed differently, your left foot. Bring your hands to your heart. Once again, if you're stable here and you got the pressure from your left foot into your right leg and your right leg is giving that pressure back, and you feel stable in lifting your arms, that's the next variation. Now once again, it's a very active pose here. Pull your right hip back or anchor it where it is. And use the strength of your outer left hip to try to draw your left knee a little wider. But notice if your right hip is coming forward, that might be a torque into your standing knee. So just ensure that it stays back. Timber. And saved by the bell. Okay, take your feet about mat width apart here. Now we are moving down into Malasana, which is a squat. I'll offer some options here. One of the options is to get some height. If you do intend to bring your bum lower than your knees, and it's safe for you to do so, you may find that a lot of the stress comes out of your hip and knee joints if you place your bum on a couple of blocks here. So the first variation is just to take your hands to your thighs, bend your knees so your hips are just a little higher than your knees. Next variation can bring your bum about to the height of your knees with your elbows or forearms just above your knees here. Now the next variation is to lower your bum below your knees. Just ensure that here your knees feel safe, hips, ankles, everywhere in your body does, lower back. And here's where you might be able to put your bum on blocks here. And again, that might take some of the pressure out of the joints of your lower body. Notice if you're hunched forward, so your triceps are on your inner knees, start to lift your chest and slide your elbows to your inner knees. Then bring your palms together and pull your hands in. So even just the length of your forearms now to put together are helping to open or stretch your inner thigh muscles here. Pull the heads of your shoulders back, so you're using your back muscles here in the pose as well. And keep your gaze angled slightly downwards, I would think. Again, depending on the angle of your heart, but match the angle of your gaze to that of your heart. Okay. Now you can make it safely to the ground by placing a hand down behind you, or you can place your hands in front of you and bring your knees to the ground before coming to your seat. Just take a block with you if you did have a prop at the front of your mat, prop set at the front of your mat. Just take one with you. And then from here, keep a bend in your knees, about a right angle. Lift your toes, flex them, draw in through your low belly, pull your upper arms back. And then slowly just recline just a little, few inches, and hold. You're going to fit your breath into your side ribs, into your chest. Again, feel that tone, that drawing up of your pelvic floor and tone through your low belly here. Now, if you feel supported in moving your shoulders even further behind your hips, just a little further, change the angle of your gaze, because now your heart is probably pointing more towards kind of a ceiling-ish or the top corner of a room. We're going to make it all the way to the ground. At some point soon, likely putting your chin down into the notch of your sternum is going to allow you to be a lot more delicate and deliberate with the movement. And then once you're down, just turn your palms up, extend your legs for the moment towards the front of your mat. And now breathe or bring breath into your belly. And when we're moving and we're doing the standing postures, oftentimes there's a tone needed to support our lower back through the movement, which prevents certainly belly breathing. So take some breath noticeably down into the bottom of your lungs here. Allow your belly to expand. Now walk your feet back towards your bum. Keep your feet parted a few inches apart. And if you can walk your feet back so you get the feeling or the sense that your ankles or heels are underneath your knees, that's certainly far enough. If they don't quite get there, that's fine as well. We will be moving in and out of bridge pose here a few times. So push down through your feet, do the same from your fingertips to your shoulders, and then lift your pelvis until you feel some tension in the front of your pelvis and down into your thighs, and keep your inner knees hugging together. That's your in-breath. Now with your exhalation, lower your bum back to your mat and push down through the tip of your tailbone right at the end of the movement. And scoop the tip back up, lift your hips, and exhale, lower. Again, the ends of the movement, end and beginning of the movement started by your tailbone. Scoop it up on your in-breath. And at the end of your exhalation, there's a little press down through the tip of your tailbone. So you'll even feel your pelvis tilt forward, a little more back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now this last time, breathe in, lift your hips, and pause. Hold the pose. Now if you've noticed that there's weight shifted more noticeably to your outer heel and baby toe side of your foot, push down through your big toe mounds and inner heels and hug your inner knees towards each other. They don't have to come together to touch. We just want to keep them aligned over top of your heels, ankles. Now there's an option here if you can interlace your fingers, keep your arms largely straight. So take an external rotation of your upper arms, and in that it'll create a little bit more space or stretch across your chest and between your shoulders. Push down through the pinky side of your hand, all the way up to the backs of your shoulders. And if you do have your hands clasped, just take your hands apart, lower your bum. Now when your bum comes down, bring one knee, maybe both knees up at the same time if you'd like, and you start to rock from side to side. Now you can keep your shoulders on the ground, or you can lift your nose up towards your knees and rock a little from side to side, just in a slightly tighter ball or tighter forward fold. And if your shoulders are lifted, lower them back to your mat. Find some height. Again, it could be a pillow, a couple pillows, it could be a block if you have them. Push down through your feet as though you're starting the bridge pose again, but just lift your bum high enough so you can place the block underneath that triangular bone at the base of your spine called your sacrum. Now here's an inversion. Your inversion is your hips lifted higher than your heart and your head. Your feet can stay grounded here. If it's safe for you to extend your feet up towards the ceiling. And take a softness, or keep a softness about this pose. So if you're really reaching your feet up towards the ceiling, there's a lot of tension in the back of your legs, or noticeable core strength needed to keep your legs lifted, just soften your knees or bend your knees so your thighs come a little closer towards your torso. And extend your arms, or another option is to extend your arms up towards the ceiling. But similar here, if you find yourself really reaching up towards the ceiling and your shoulders are peeled off your mat, just bring a gentle curl to your fingers, your elbows, and just let your shoulders come back onto your mat. Let the blood drain from fingertips and toe tips all the way back to your heart, giving your heart a much needed break here. Inversions are wonderful for a variety of reasons. One is that it does just give your heart a little bit more, well, a little bit of a break. Instead of having to pump very hard to get blood from the tips of your fingers or tips of your toes up, here the blood is just draining, venous blood is just draining back down to your heart here. Lower your arms, and do the same with your feet. Keep your knees bent. Once your feet come to the ground, lift your bum, and just take the block out to the side or the prop. And then bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Now here you can just keep your legs as they are. They can be still. If you'd like some support for your legs, again, you can take pillows and stuff them, or your blocks and stuff them just in your upper outer thighs. But just an option to bring some subtle movement into this shape as well. It's just a pulse to your knees up and down a little bit. So you're moving in and out of tension through your inner thighs, and probably less noticeable, but still perhaps noticeable, is the compression you're moving in and out of in your outer hips. Here, we'll just take 3 deep breaths. So breathe into your belly, keep your legs still, breathe into your belly, breathe into your chest, feel your body actually bow off the ground a little bit here, and then open your mouth and release it all. So again, when your in-breath rolls around, breathe into your belly, your chest, your sides, your back even. Hold your breath just for a brief moment at the top, open your mouth and let it go. Last time, breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. Now, if it helps to bring your legs back together, you can place your hands in your outer thighs and just give them a little push. That'll help to support that movement back to your knees back together. And shift your bum over to the left side of your mat. But allow your knees to go towards the right. Keep your arms extended out at shoulder height. And with your right leg, you can keep it as it is, or you can lift your right foot and place it on your outer left thigh. This will add a little bit of weight, but if it does add to your left leg, but if it does add any discomfort or just noticeable change in sensation to your left knee, it might be better to keep your foot on the ground. Now your gaze can remain up towards the ceiling or look towards your left hand. Once again, no restriction in a deeper breath pattern, more intentional and deeper breath pattern, other than just a little twist that's in your lungs here. But again, there should be quite a volume of breath you can take in here. And at the conclusion of this exhalation, turn your gaze, if it's over to the side, back up to the ceiling, and slide your right foot off your left thigh if it's there. Bring yourself back to the middle of your mat if you'd like, before moving into the twist on the other side to bring your knees into your chest. And you can do that for a breath or two, a few moments. And then walk your feet over to the right, bring your bum into that same side. Now take your knees over to the left. Once again, arms out at shoulder height. You did on the last side, and it's safe on this side. Take your left foot to your outer right thigh. There's a little weight there. You may find more tension down the outer left side of your thigh, or the right hip, excuse me, right thigh and right hip. Turn your gaze towards your right hand as you turn your head last side. This exhalation off, turn your head back to the ceiling, slide your left foot off your right leg, come back to the middle of your mat, and then bring your knees once again up into your chest. You can do this one at a time or bring them both at the same time. And you can move from here into happy baby as well. You can reach through your inner thighs to grab your ankles or the outer edges of your feet, and then move your shin bones so the soles of your feet point up towards up to the ceiling. Again, this can be a posture where you bring movement. Movement's what keeps the body healthy, so I do encourage it when it's safe to bring it into your practice. Extend one leg and then the other, certainly rocking from side to side. And from here, Shavasana. So when you release your feet and lower them to the ground, if there's any preparation needed, you can slide the bolster underneath your knees or place something underneath the back of your head if you notice that there's some compression in the back of your neck. So take time with whatever is needed for you to be comfortable in Shavasana. Extend your legs forward. Arms can be either close to your sides or further away, so think more starfish. Breathe deeply in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it out, clearing breath. have a little more time to stay in Shavasana, please take that time well spent. If not, and you're coming out with us, just walk your feet back. Again, you can bring them up into your chest or just whatever your process is that brings you out of Shavasana gently. When you're ready to roll to your side, roll over to your right side. Keep your arm extended so your head rests as comfortably in your inner right bicep. And then come away from the ground. Find yourself seated comfortably. Thank you very much for taking the time to practice. I've said this many times, but in one way, shape, or form, we're all caregivers. Whether you have somebody in your family that you care for or as part of your vocation, but you probably don't have to pull on your thread too much or for too long before you realize that you do care for others. But the duty of care that you have first is the one to yourself. It allows you to authentically then pass that forward. So thank you very much for taking the time to practice. Bring your palms together. Namaste.